Hey, everybody, how are you? Um, wow, that was first world issues. Stream wasn't wanting to come on or anything like that, so we're a little bit late. So I have been joined. I've actually roped in another wannabe legend. This is Robin. Hi, Robin. How are
Hi,
you?
hi, I'm good, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
She's friends with M and Nat, and they're going to become my second British group. I've got the British boys. I need to figure out what to call you guys. Probably something or other. I'll let you guys figure that out. Anyways, we're going to create a character today, and you've been going through the player's guide, right?
I have indeed, yes.
And what has struck your fancy and why? Besides it being a monster
Um,
babe.
well, I like the laws surrounding them as well because I like the fact that they have like a matriarchal caste-based system. I thought that was really interesting because you don't really find that a lot in other games. Um, and I'm just a sucker for big green orc babes. Um, that's pretty much it. I just thought the lore was interesting and I like the character design. And I didn't want to
Okay.
play another animal because we already have like two
Right.
animals
Everybody
sort of.
seems to be attracted to the animals, but they're missing out on some of the
Yeah.
really cool things of some of the other species. But that's cool. You guys can play what you want to play. So you've
Yeah.
decided to go with the Rakas.
Mhm.
All right. So we will jump down to your species. Now, there are specific ways to fill out the character sheet that I'm kind of training people to do, and I think I need to do a YouTube. I've already got one on how to create a character. I think I need to go through and say specifically where you should put things because it makes it easier to read in the end. I guess that's my OCD thing. So, are you on page 45?
I'm just finding it. I had it downloaded and then it's not here, so I'm just opening it again.
No worries.
Du-du-du.
And I saw that we got
It's a
all
big
of.
file. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fine.
it's huge. I mean, it's the complete book with all the art and everything in it. So
The
Kickstarter
art is so
starts in
cool.
7 days, and I am nervous. I'm doubting everything.
I I love the design of this manual. It gives me big like 90s RPG vibes, which I enjoy. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think if we're able to raise the Kickstarter money to get to certain areas, the color version of this I think is going to be interesting. Um, yeah, it'll be very interesting, but we'll see. I'll just be happy if I can just reach my first goal. That'll be awesome.
I'm sure you will.
Hey, Serby, how are you? Serby's also created a character. He's actually got
Oh, cool.
a Havatu who has a very impressive agility score. I think it's an agility. The maximum agility score you could get is 100, and he's got it with his die rolls and things like that. Sounds a
Insane.
bit low. I can
Sounds a
turn
bit low.
I can turn her up a lot more. Is that better, Kirby? Serby?
Hello.
Hello. All right. So
I'm on page 45, yeah.
all right. Hmm. So what we're gonna do here is on your character sheet. Oh, not that one. Let's put that over there. On the second sheet, there's a little box. It's called species, features, and traits. They have a lot of traits and a lot of features. Um, what I like to do in Adobe is I'll grab things and just copy and paste them in. It makes it easier, makes it faster. I actually had a thought of inspiration that maybe when you go and select your species on your character sheet, it will fill in all the other stuff, and the only things you'd have to pick is your languages and your species abilities. So maybe I'll do that sometime soon. You need a little bit more. From who? Me or her? From You're not helping me out here, sir. All right. So what I'm going to do is, what I do is I start off with the languages, right? So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste your the languages, and you get Rakish, common and undercommon, and
Okay.
I just take them and I just paste everything in there. Um, and it will. It seems like it's big, but the more information you put in, it'll start to shrink down.
Yeah.
If I go too fast for you, let me know. I'm actually probably going to have a third British group some point in the near, like real close future playing. sometime soon. So it's going to be interesting. All right. Then what the resistance is, they get a plus 15 to their fears and horror checks. On the first page, small gray box, bottom right hand corner, is your versus fear check. I'm just going to go ahead and put plus 15 in there and a plus 15 in there as well. That way, when we get ready to generate it, we know that we've got that bonus for that. So it makes it easier for us to roll with that. Bonuses, you gain a plus 10 to your alertness and a minus 10, and that's something I'll copy and paste, a minus 10 to skill checks in daylight or brighter. And I will put that also, I'll put that in the features and traits, but then I'll give myself a plus 10 for my alertness in the skill section. Cool?
Yep.
Right on. All right. Then I'm going to go down to menacing. So everything that's menacing, poison immunity, and technophobe, you kind of got to do a cliff notes for them because there's there's a lot of information there for written purposes, but for rules purposes, menacing, I think you have a 15-foot radius. No, 5-foot radius. Sorry, 5-foot radius. My fault. 5-foot radius. 5-foot radius. So 10 feet around you, and it can increase to a maximum of 30. Targets must make a willpower. So targets must attempt a will. If I could spell correctly. A will power. TS of, I think it's like 1 or 25 charisma. So TS1 for 25 charisma.
Yeah.
And then the penalty is that if they fail that, they suffer -5 penalty all skill checks for the next 2 turns. And just drop that in there as well. All right, so that's for menacing. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the same thing with poison immunity. So with poison immunity, you get 2 bonuses. One, they are highly resistant to poison in the first place. So their poison immunity types A through C, correct? A through C.
Poison types A through C.
Right, and then on the top part where you put your poison check, put a plus 40 in your poison check. That way, when we get ready to generate that, we'll know that's there. And then technophobe, you have a 25% chance of technology just failing around you when you use it. So 25%.
Sorry, I can't see where the poison check is.
So it's on the second sheet.
Yep.
I'm sorry, on the first sheet. Under poison check, right? In the little gray box.
Oh yeah, I see. And that's a 40.
Yeah, that'll be a 40.
Cool.
And that's essentially done with that. Now what we need to do is we need you to pick 2 of these species abilities. Now, in the beginning of the book, if you're actually going through this and you're reading it on your own, it'll describe that you get 5 abilities when you begin as a first-rank character, right? You gain 2 from your species, 2 from your focus, and then 1 we call your chosen ability, the one that you actually want to take to do whatever you want with your character. Prior to this, I suggested that maybe you figure out what you want to do archetype-wise. Do you have an idea?
I kind of think I might want to be a bounty hunter, but I don't know.
Okay. So what kind of bounty hunter? Do you want to be like a fighting bounty hunter, a charismatic, or a knowledge-based?
I think I'm going to be a fighter.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
So then choose 2 of these that you'd want to have for your character.
I think blade resistance.
Brilliant.
And survivalist.
All right, so what you'll do is go ahead and copy the blade resistance, and there's a section called abilities where you'll put all your abilities in. So basically, you have a plus 10 damage versus slashing weapons, and this actually stacks with your armor. It's kind of like a natural armor, but it's specifically against slashing weapons.
Okay.
And then survivalist. No one's picked survivalist in a while. Here, what you're going to do is you're going to get a when you take the survival skill, right? You gain a plus 15 to it instead of the standard plus 10 as a focus. So it's survival skill plus 15 instead of the normal 10 as a focus. And then you get to choose one of the following: immunity to cold environments, hot environments. You can hustle, run, or sprint without paying fatigue points, or double the length of time you can go without food, or double your exhaustion limits. You get to choose one. So when you're running, so when you hustle, run, and sprint, you have to pay fatigue, right? Because then you can double your movement, triple your movement, or even quadruple your movement in a single move. So the way to balance that was to charge fatigue points for it.
Yeah, I think I'll take not paying fatigue points.
All right. So
Yeah.
hustle, run, or without the fatigue points, and that just goes in that same line right there. I don't know if you can. Are you on? You're not watching me on Twitch, are you?
No.
No. Okay. I wasn't sure because I'm showing it to everybody so you can see where it goes and things like that. All right. And that is essentially that. We are done here. Actually, we're not really done. The last thing you want to do is maybe you want to before, so we don't have to come back, is create a name for your Akas. On page 45, we have languages and names in which we have your typical names, we have surnames. A lot of people strangely enough, have decided to use the words that we have translated from Common and Rakish to create their own specific, unique name without using any of the actual typical names.
I'm looking at the words. I think rebel, so like Multac, and then
Multac?
yeah, I like that.
All right. And then what about a surname?
I'm gonna go female, so I'm just gonna do.
Oh, right on.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Rebel female.
Where's that? Rebel female.
See, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Zirjui.
Ah. Coming up with languages must be really hard.
It is, and it's interesting is because I know what accents or what basis I'm trying to pull them from, what part of the speech,
Yeah.
and so all of the species have a 2,700 word dictionary already pre-made that I've built over the last few years that have all the different words. And the Rakas, Kova, and Havatu have a guttural, not a guttural in the sense of like it's lots of huh in it, like huh, that sounding. And they all share the same language family, even though they all share the same language family. So it's interesting when I was creating the words is some like the Kova have words that the Rakas don't, the Rakas have words that the Kova don't, and the Havatu have words that neither of them have. So for the word. So like when you go to say bad in Kova, it's different than it in Rakas. It's a different accent, but Rakas have like 9 different words for bad.
Yeah.
Right? To determine where Kova, it's bad. Just one word. It's bad. Doesn't matter what it is, it's bad. For the Rakas, there's levels, right? Okay, this person is slightly better. This thing is slightly better. This one's really, really bad, and it's really, really, really bad, and things like that. So I used the flow of that just to figure out where I was at and what I was doing. All right, so next we're going to do is character attributes. We're going to go to page 53.
Roll it. That's too far. Yep. I'm on 53.
Page 53. All right, so this is where we get to generate your actual want to show your character, right? So you're a medium species, and as such, all your starting attributes on the attribute determined table, your base size is going to be 50 for all of those.
Okay.
On a D100 system, that's what worked the best. Just makes things easy. And it also gives us an idea of where, how to go back and forth, because nothing is based off of your species. It's all based off of your species size, right? Smaller creatures may be faster, more agile, or larger creatures will be stronger and have a larger stamina, but not as fast or as perceptive. And then you're going to roll. We're going to get into some dice rolls. So you're going to roll 4d10.
Yeah.
Re-roll any ones. Drop the lowest and add those 3 together.
Okay. That's the lowest. So that's 24.
All right. And what I do on the attribute determination is I put all the numbers in the campaign modifier column, because we're going to move them around anyway, that we can track them.
Cool.
All right. Just
so I have to do it for all of them. Keep
well,
rolling.
and yeah, you just roll them 8 times, because you're going to put it wherever you want to in the end.
18.
18, you said?
Yep.
Right on.
I've dropped
Uh-oh, wild dice, wild dice.
Ah! I'll just get another one out my bucket. My dice bucket. Hold on.
Oh, look at
I've
that.
lost it. I have too many dice. They're pretty.
Click, clack.
And now I can't find a D10. There we go, that's one. Oh, I've rolled like shit. That's great. Okay, 9.
9. Oof. Oof.
I love being bad at rolling. 14.
All right, next.
Another 14. 13. Why am I rolling so
You're
low?
rolling very low.
I know.
The only score you have is strength is 24.
I'm just gonna be bad. Okay, all right. I've got a 10 in this one. That's fine. So that's 21.
Okay, and last one.
That is 22.
Well, you kind of made it up for in the end.
Yeah.
All right, so we actually have a couple of options, right? We have the 3d10 array, if you want to use that. A little bit better than what you rolled, because you start off with 2 25s and a 21, or you can stick with your rolls. I'll give you that option.
I don't know. I'll stick with my rolls.
Okay.
I'll just be bad at some things. It'll be fine.
All right.
I'll just be really strong and bad at everything else.
There you go.
So as opposed to, yeah, I don't know.
well, we're still not done. We still have your species modifier and your focus modifier to put in. All right, so I guess you're gonna put your 24 in your strength, I take it?
Yeah.
So the next thing you're going to need to worry about as a fighter is your agility and perception, because that actually builds into your physical defense, right? So I would take your 22 and
put it in agility.
Put it in agility, and then take your 21 and drop it into perception, because those are also the basic strength, agility, and perception are the basic modifiers that we use for all the weapons, right? We have strength. You have strength-based weapons, agility-based weapons, and perception-based weapons. Intelligence will help you with your total number of skills. Willpower is very important because it's help. Well, actually, for a fighter, you could actually go any direction at this point. Intelligence is the book smart. Wits is the street smarts in all intents purposes. Stamina is your total number of fatigue, and since you're not playing a caster, it's not that important. But if you gain certain abilities, some abilities may require you to spend fatigue. And these aren't your final scores, right? Each rank, you can go up. You can decide, hey, I want to increase my perception. So you can increase your perception by 4 points, right? And every time you go up a certain number, you increase your modifier as well. So you get to choose how to build so your character is always growing. It's not static in any one way. So, what do you want to do with the rest of these scores?
Okay, I think I'm gonna pop my 18 in wits.
All right.
Then I got two 14s.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. I'll probably put um I don't do point difference. Right, I'll put 14 in stamina. And 14 in I don't know if it's smarter to put it in intelligence or in willpower. I
Well,
don't
it's
know.
1 point difference, so it doesn't really matter at this
Yeah,
point.
I'll just put it in willpower, 13 in intelligence, and I'll just be really uncharismatic, which isn't that much different from real life. So
Oh, don't be that way. Don't be that way. All right. So the next thing you get to choose is we have two types of species modifiers. We have the standard that we created that's it's well balanced that you can choose by choosing the species modifiers, or if you want to just throw that out the window, you can assign yourself two of your attributes a +10 and one of them a +5. It's your choice.
um I'll just do I'll do species modifier, I
All
think.
right.
So yeah.
So where do you want to place your first +10?
Um
It can go to strength, agility, intelligence, or charisma.
intelligence and charisma. Mm.
I would suggest putting one of them in your strength. Well, it depends. Like, do you want to be an
Yeah.
agility fighter or a strength-based fighter?
Well, I could put one in strength and one in agility.
You could, yes.
So I'll do that.
All right.
That's what I'll do. I'll put
Awesome.
10 in strength and 10 in agility. I'll just be really good at all the fighting
There you
and
go.
really bad at talking to people.
I have that on a daily basis. Really bad at talking with people. All right. So now we're going to choose your focus. Now, focus is as close to classes as we actually get, right? We've got,
Mhm.
and you can break down any type of class from any TTRPG into they're either combat focused, they're knowledge focused, they're social focused, or they're stealth focused.
Yeah.
And you decided you want to go with combat, correct?
Combat
All
focus.
right. So now
Yeah.
you gain an additional. So one of your right off the bat, you're going to gain a +5 to your stamina modifiers, your focus, and then you get an additional +5 to either your strength, agility, or perception.
Um I might put a +5 in perception just to get it up to 90
Up to
because I already
76.
have yeah, up to 76. Oh yeah, it's because I have this stuff in the campaign modifier still. That's why.
Yeah, no worries.
Because I put the numbers there to keep track of them, and I
Right. That's
just
where I put
delete
them, and
them.
then I just copy and paste
Yeah,
them over, or yeah, cut them
I
and paste them. It's
um,
like 90. Wow.
yeah, no, where should I shift my
So
other
those
5?
stats that you have right now are actually not bad. They're about average.
Cool.
And to really get exceptional, you have to roll 25s and above, right? And not a lot of
Okay.
people do that. I've seen some people come in, they roll, they're like, oh, I've got a 22, 23, 24, 25. And then they'd get like a one or like a two. Actually, I had one person roll and get a 3 or a 6. It was a 6. They got a 6 in one of their stats because of the way
Yeah.
they rolled. So it just happens. Even after you re-roll the ones. So this isn't too bad. So what we'll do here is we'll go ahead and we'll grab these and we'll
Okay.
pop them into the appropriate attributes for your wherever your characters are on your character sheet, and it'll automatically with the fillable, it will automatically put in all the modifiers and everything for you, so you don't have to look those up.
I like that the sheets do the maths for you because I'm a literature student and numbers scare me.
Well, and so even if there was like that, right? Let's say that you had actually had to write them in. The
Yeah.
attribute modifier table is there for you to figure those out as well, right? Where they go and
Yeah.
which ones they are. So it's not. I've tried to do my best to eliminate as much math as possible, but when you get ready to roll, it's math heavy, right? Because you've got
Yeah.
determine how many successes you have, and then you take your total number of successes. If you, especially if you're in combat, we don't roll extra dice for damage. It's your total number of successes multiplied by your base damage. So in some cases, it could be 5 points. It could be as much as 150 points.
Yeah.
And even me, when I'm fairly good with math, I still have to pull out a calculator when it gets above uh, 15 successes. I'm like, oh wait, 33. I got to figure that one out and to do it quickly. So that is essentially it. Now, as a combat focus, we'll go ahead and zoom in here to combat real quick. What's really cool about this is you gain a plus train bonus to all your untrained skill attempts with any weapons that
Yeah.
you pick up. Just you pick up a weapon. Most people would be at a 30 plus their attribute modifier. You can automatically pick up um, a weapon and use it. Like
Oh,
you've been trained to do it your entire life. And that means you gain a plus 10 to all your untrained skill attempts with weapons that you pick up. So that's just kind of cool, right? You need to file that in and say, okay, it's a plus 10 if I pick up a weapon I've never been trained in, but I know how to use weapons. Um, then you have a choice. So when we get to the skills, we give focus modifiers, right? You can focus in skills, and they give you a plus 10 to those skills. Now, combat really only has 4 skills. It has feint, shield proficiency, weapon craft, and martial arts. And then weapon craft breaks down into perception, agility, and strength, right? So then you've got those. So it's technically got 7 skills, I guess. But what you can do is you can say, you know what, I'm going to specialize. I'm going to focus in 2 combat skills, and then I'm going to focus in 2 general skills. So you can break that apart if you like. So just keep that in mind. Next, we get to choose your focus abilities. You said you wanted to kind of do like a bounty hunter.
yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So some of the more common ones that people tend to take. Um, improved multiple strike allows you to attack multiple times. Well, you can, so right off the bat, you can attack multiple times as a character, but
Yeah.
you get penalties for that. Improved multiple strike reduces those penalties towards those attacks. Um, do you want to be a sword and border, or do you want to use 2 swords? What do you see your bounty hunter using? Do they use pistols? Do they use crossbows?
Um, I think I was thinking more swords, like a traditional sort of warrior type thing, rather
Okay.
than pistols.
Okay.
Pistols would be cool, but I feel like swords probably fits better with
Okay.
the idea I have for my character.
All right.
So,
I would also take then parry.
okay,
So I would take improved multiple strike. And
okay,
if you want to read about them, if you click on the link, it'll take you to that specific page. If you want to read about them, and these will be your new abilities. They'll go in the ability section. Multiple strike penalties, and
words
then
are hard.
words are hard for me sometimes. And
Words are
then
hard for me, and I'm
yeah,
doing it as a
literature.
degree.
You're doing it as a
Yeah,
degree.
I
And
spelled tarantula embarrassingly wrong the other night.
you spelled what?
Tarantula embarrassingly wrong the other night, and I was like, "What am I doing?"
Trantula, right? Tarantula.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I was typing it on my phone and I messed it up really bad, and I
Well,
was
you can't
embarrassed.
really. Okay, so you can't really say that on phones because I'll be typing something and my thumb will hit one letter, and it'll autocorrect. I'm like, that's not what I meant. What are you doing, phone? So no, phones don't count. Phone
Okay,
mistakes don't count. They're not
okay,
allowed to. So in parry, we have multiple levels of parry. You have heroic, legendary, epic, and then paragon. And each of these are divided. So when you get to 5th rank, you can take the legendary portion of parry if you like. When you get to 10th rank, you can take the epic portion of parry. And when you get to 15th rank, you can take the paragon portion of it. Starting right off the bat, when you're using a second melee weapon, you don't suffer the -20 that goes with that attempt. So that's important, right? So parry, do not suffer -20 secondary weapon penalty. I also have a tendency of when the first word that I'm writing tends to have the first 2 letters capitalized, and I don't mean to do that because I'm typing so fast that my finger doesn't let go the shift button. And then
it's because your brain works faster than you can type. That's my excuse.
No, that's actually true, right? It's like when people start speaking, right? When you're having difficulties getting the words out, your brain's like trying to throw so much information. Your mouth's like, I don't understand what you're doing. Stop.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
If I take a minute and I focus, I can begin to speak very, very fast. I can actually start talking really, really fast about different topics, anything you want to talk about. I just got to focus on it because I can't focus on anything else. And then I start talking really quickly. And I can read really quickly as well, but I've got to focus on it. You may parry. Yeah. So now you can also parry weapons that are within 2 size categories of your own. So if you get hit, if someone is hitting you with a huge weapon, you can parry that, but you couldn't parry like a gigantic weapon. But you can parry small. You can parry anything below you for the most part. And you gain 1 as a heroic. At heroic, you gain what's called disarming. You can actually attempt to disarm people. They gain an agility check versus you. It's an opposed agility check for disarming. So disarming, opposed agility check. If they fail, you get to literally disarm them and throw their weapon off to a certain number of feet. So it's flung up to 5 feet per strength modifier.
Mm-hmm.
It's flung 5 feet per strength modifier. And you also can parry, right? It's just automatically, right? You can you can use your weapon craft as your physical defense with a parry. However, if you fail, you take the attack, right? It's either one or the other. Yeah. And you must meet it or beat the total number. You can't just parry a little bit of it. You got to either meet it or beat it. Otherwise, it just doesn't work for you. And I think, go to focuses. I believe that's it. The last thing that we need to do is, as additional bonuses, you gain plus 10 health and plus 5 to your physical defense. So again, we haven't generated those yet. So I just drop a plus 10 into my health, and then on the mod for physical defense, I just put a plus 5 there because that might actually go up depending on what you want to do.
Okay.
The modifier might go up. And now we're gonna put the peanuts on our sundaes. I don't know. Do you like peanuts? I like peanuts.
But it's like we don't have a lot of peanuts on ice cream over here.
Really?
It's more like sauce. We have like sauce, and like we have. Do you have like Mr. Whippy ice cream? Like, you know, when you like pull it and it's like a swirl.
Okay, yeah. So we have what's called soft serve machines, and they do like a swirl. They're called soft serves. And yeah,
we call them Mr. Whippy. Mr. Whippy ice cream.
Mr. Whippy ice
cream. I think it was a brand, and I don't know, but that's what it's called. And then we just cover it in sauce.
And sauce, you mean like hot fudge, strawberry, whipped cream, and those kind of things, or is it like a sauce?
Like chocolate sauce, or like we have bubblegum sauce, or like strawberry sauce. Man. I don't know. I'm remembering all of this from when I worked in a zoo and I used to have to give ice cream to children. So I'm just and we put flakes in them. Do you have flakes? Like,
what do you mean by flakes?
It's like a chocolate bar that's like really crumbly. It's like a crumbly chocolate bar. A flake. And then you
So we have what's called sprinkles, right? You can get like chocolate sprinkles.
Yeah, we have sprinkles.
And then
but we put like a flake in it, like a whole chocolate bar.
Like a whole chocolate bar into it.
Yeah, but it's like
if you go to like very specific like ice cream locations, they do that. I
Yeah.
haven't been to one. Well, since the virus basically hit the world, I haven't been to one. We have a what's called the Screamery, and it's
Hmm.
all natural made ice cream, and they
Yeah.
do all kinds of cool things. And then there's actually one that's one of my favorite. It's actually got chunks of honeycomb inside
Uh,
the vanilla ice cream. I'm like, ugh. And yes, true fat cat. It's a bounty hunter with an ice cream habit.
yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to eat ice
Right?
cream while you're
Yeah,
hunting
exactly.
down people?
Exactly. I would.
Exactly.
All right, so now we're gonna get into the sauces for your ice cream sundaes.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna start with your health points. Now, like I said, everything is based off anything that's relative to would be like a character race in other TTRPGs. We've divorced it from that, and everything's based off of size. So as a medium creature, you start off with a base of 40 plus your stamina modifier and your willpower modifier. So
Okay.
plus your max health. So you're going to start off with 50, 355 health altogether.
55. Okay.
And when you
55.
when you put that in, you'll notice the other boxes kind of fill in 28 and 14. So basically, when you get to half health, it sucks to get hit because your
Okay.
skills start to suffer. So if you're at half health or less until you get to quarter health, everything you do is a -3 successes, right? So let's say you go to attack somebody, you've got 9 successes. Well, 3 automatically come off because you're pretty beaten up, right?
Mhm.
Once you get to quarter health, it's -6 successes, and it gets even worse. It gets even harder to do things. Now, there's this thing called instant death. We have it there because it's kind of like an optional rule, and it's not like true death, like you die. What happens is,
Uh-huh.
if let's say I hit you with enough damage to reduce you to instant death in one attack, you get to make a stamina or willpower check or die. And what that means is it drops you to 0 health, 0 fatigue, and you're bleeding out at -10 health every turn until you reach your stamina score and negative health. So for you,
Okay.
you would have 6 turns before you actually died, if unless if they're in a big fight and they can't get to you. It's like a tick. Okay, it's -10. Ugh, -10. And a simple healing skill check will stop that healing and that bleeding, and they can actually restore you back some of your negative. It's yeah, and if you're that badly wounded, it could take, without healing spells, it could take weeks to return to normal, and things like that.
Okay.
So that's just what that is. It's an optional rule. I think it's a cool rule. I use it. It puts a little more drama on things. Now, since there's only going to be 3 of you, I probably won't institute an instant death. Um, I'll probably just drop you to 0 and say, okay, you need to make a holding 0 check, and that basically means that you can continue to do one action every turn so long as you pass your holding 0 check, which means that you have to make a stamina check at a stamina check, which is cumulative every turn until you fail, right? So it
Okay.
slowly will build up. So you would be stamina check, and then the next turn would be stamina check, TS of 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5 until you failed. And there's this thing called heroic luck, which we'll get into, which can actually help you from getting to that point. Um, it's actually probably one of the more important attributes that characters have. It actually can change the dynamic of the story. I've had a couple of times where I've had my home game players. I'm gonna TPK them. I can feel it. Here it comes,
Yeah.
and then someone spends enough heroic luck to change it, and the whole battle just changes in their favor, and it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It just changes, and they just start getting momentum, and they start doing, okay, I've got this, and then I rush over here, and I take care of that person, and that person's back up, and you got the healers coming in, and it changes the whole dynamic very, very quickly. I'm like, wow, I thought I had you all dead. That sucks. um
I've played a system before that has community luck, so you can decide like as a group to like spend community luck to help people succeed roles, etc.
right,
So
so we
that's
actually have an ability that's called oh, I can't think of its name, but basically it allows you to give your heroic luck to other people. You can give
yeah.
so much. You could give, I think it's like 5 heroic luck to somebody. Say, okay, you need this, right? But it's a special. It's an actual ability. All right. So our fatigue points are going to be our stamina modifier and our willpower modifier. So in this case, it's going to be 71 for you.
Okay. Teak, do, do, do.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So the next thing we're going to work on is your defenses. There are 4 defenses that we have. You have your physical defense, which is your ability to block or dodge out of the way. Your magical defense, which is your defense against anything that comes magical at you. Divine, obviously divine. And then Jinhu is a different type of magic. It's more of a willpower kind of internal energy than calling on arcane or the deities. So the scores are all based off of 30 plus attribute modifiers. For you, the physical defense is 30 plus your perception and your agility modifier. So that's 36, 41 plus your 5. So that makes it a 46, which is a really good starting score. Okay. Your magical defense is 30 plus your intelligence modifier plus your stamina modifier. So it's 35 for you. Hit by magic.
I'll try not to.
This one's gonna really suck. Your divine defense is 30 plus your charisma modifier plus your wits modifier, so it's 34. So it's not that bad. And then your Jinhu is 30 plus your willpower modifier plus your intelligence modifier. So in this case, again, 34.
Okay.
I know where to stick the knife in you. Hit you with
Please
magic.
no.
hit you with magic and divine. Twist it.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing that we're going to work on, I'm going to shut this down. We don't need that anymore. Next thing we're going to work on is your movement. Now, at the very top of the character sheet is your movement. It's a base of 15 for medium creatures. Also, make sure you pick size medium, and then we can throw in rank 1 there, and then change your species to Rakas. Yeah, and I just had an inspiration that if I do that and you choose medium, everything should kind of semi-fill in where, we'll see.
Yeah.
And heroic luck is based off your charisma modifier.
Oh no.
You've got 1. Use it wisely. Spend it. So heroic luck allows you to actually do a lot of things. Like you can spend 1 heroic luck to re-roll any failed, to re-roll a missed roll, or if you just want to re-roll. 2 heroic luck to ignore a failed roll. 3 heroic luck to do some other things. And if you have 10 heroic luck and you've died, you can actually spend your heroic luck and literally come back from death. We don't know how you survived. You're missing an arm, and your left foot, but you survived, right? And allows, and people are like,
couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
You got 1.
I've got 1. I can re-roll if I'm lucky.
Well, and the thing is this, is anytime you roll, right? So anytime you roll an Ot 1 through Ot 5, you gain an automatic heroic luck.
Yeah.
So anytime you crit, you gain a heroic luck. You can also purchase heroic luck every rank. Some species start off, like humans start off with a base of like upwards of 9 heroic luck. Because they're humans and they need all the luck that they can get. So you have a choice on starting ages and weights and your height. Do you want to do random or do you just want to go with the average? I don't care which way you go.
Average? I'll just go average. Like I never know what to do when I have to come up with heights and weights and stuff, so I'll just do average.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So on page 58, you can literally roll, right? So so like for a Rakas,
I'll roll then.
Your base is 15 plus a D10.
Okay, cool. I will roll. I'm just trying to find the page. D8. Yeah, 58. Yeah,
so you're using Adobe Acrobat, yes?
Yes.
So at the top, you'll see where it says where your hand is. There's like 58 or whatever number you're on, and then X number of 387. Don't focus on the numbers in the parentheses. If you actually type in 58, it'll take you right to 58.
Okay. Right.
And so just roll a D10 and we'll add it to your base of 15. Watch you be like 1, 16.
I got 4.
4. Okay, so you're 19. Hey, there you go.
I'm 19.
There you go.
4 years younger. I know.
And then, so your random height and weight again. So for Rakas, you're 5 foot plus 2d10 in inches.
14. So
You're
how many inches are in a
six
foot?
foot 2. You're 6'2".
6'2". That's an entire foot taller than I am in real life.
Wow.
So everything's coming up, Robbo, I guess.
And then your weight is 125 pounds plus 10d10 in extra pounds. So from anywhere from 10 pounds to 100 extra pounds.
I'm not gonna go digging in the dice bucket for
We can do the
10d10.
average for that if you want to do that.
Yeah, let's just do the
All right,
average.
so the average would be 50, so you're 175 pounds.
Cool.
Which kind of makes sense with your strength score. 84.
Insanity. I'm very insane.
Well, insanity only occurs if you fail horror checks or fear checks. You gain insanity, and then there you can actually gain some insanity aspects that just really mess with you.
I thought I was gonna have to roll to see how insane I was.
No. You start off fine. You're not insane starting off the bat. You'll also notice that you're.
Relatable.
I'm sorry.
It's not very relatable to be born sane.
Well, I don't think anybody's ever born sane. I think we all have a little idiosyncrasies. All right, so your vision, go ahead and change that to night vision.
Cool. Night vision.
And your encumbrance on the back sheet there is this is how much you can carry, not necessarily how much you can lift, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look at what True Fetcat said. I don't know if, well, you're not on there. They basically said it may be a foot taller than your physical height, but it's a foot shorter than your presence. Wow, that's pretty awesome. All right, so your maximum lift is 504 pounds, right? And the way to figure that out is you would need, if we pull up the calculator real quick, for you to figure that out, you would have to roll, so 504 divided by 75, you would need to get at least 7 successes in your strength to be able to lift that. Now, you've lifted it, doesn't mean you're going anywhere with it very fast. It's like you spend 80 fatigue per turn moving with it. Your movement is reduced to 5 feet per turn. So you can carry it, you're just not gonna go very fast. That makes sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
I want to see if something works here. New. I have to figure out why it's not working. It's a new sound thing I was playing with. Let's see if it works. All right. We are essentially done with that. Now we get to the real fun part: choosing your philosophy, which is your codes of morality, right?
Yeah.
Alignment is okay. I don't like alignment because I think it's over restrictive. But alignment works for D&D. We've decided to go with 3 types of philosophy. You're either good, you're neutral, or you're evil. 95% of the world population, including animals, beasts, and monsters, are neutral in their basic morality, right? If you want to be good, you have to work at being good. If you want to be evil, you have to work at being evil. And we track that with philosophy points. Neutral, you can do some good, you can do some bad, and it kind of all washes out in the end. But if you're going to be good and if you're going to be evil, you have to work at it. Now, being evil doesn't mean that you go around torturing orphans. It could, but not necessarily. Being good is they abide more by the golden rule than anything, right? That's what they really do. Now, if you want to be devoted good or devoted evil, you get bonuses in mechanics against opposite philosophies, right? Most people choose to be neutral because it allows them to get away with just about anything they want in real life. I mean,
yeah, I think I'll go neutral.
right,
I don't
so
think
it's already
I'm
selected.
evil.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, if you find $100, like here in America, if you find $100 bill on the sidewalk and there's nobody around, I promise you, most people are just gonna pick it up and kind of like, okay, I hope nobody saw me, and they're gonna walk away with it, right?
I mean, like, people go, "Oh, I'd hand it in to the police," but, like, what happens when you hand it in? It's
Who are they gonna track it? Who are they gonna give it to, right? It's just gonna go into whatever pot they have anyway.
you might as well just go to the pub and buy your friends around,
right?
and then
Exactly, and enjoy it.
there
Now
you go.
there's the difference if you find a wallet. Now you know who
Yeah.
they are. You should probably reach out to them, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna be neutral. Now here's another big choices for you: aspects and motivations.
Cool.
You need to choose one aspect and one motivation. And what's cool about these is these can change. As your character develops and you go through things, you can decide, you know what, I'm not really that ambitious like I thought I was going to be. I'm more of a boldness aspect. And you can change these, but you can only change them once per rank.
I need to refresh myself for that one. Like, I think I'm gonna be hardline.
Ooh, look at you, hardline aspect. Okay.
Yeah.
Take no shit, give no shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Motivation.
And then what about your motivation?
Well, I'm gonna go mission. If I'm a bounty hunter,
Yep,
mission.
makes
Because
makes
I'm
sense.
a lot of them. I can't be a pacifist.
Could you
I
imagine being a
can't.
pacifist bounty hunter?
Pacifist
You're
bounty
like,
hunter.
stop what you're doing, put the gun down. I need to arrest you. No, 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 don't, no, you need to stop. And that would actually be an interesting. Hold on, I gotta let this dog out.
Oh, what sort of dog have you got? I love dogs.
So we've actually got, and we got a literal farmhouse living with us. We've got a pit bull mix, and then we've got an American bulldog pit bull mix. Her name is Molly, but when she walks around, she looks like Eeyore. She's heads down, is like doo doo doo. And then she'll stop in the middle of what she's doing, and you're walking. She'll sit down right in front of you. So I've nicknamed her Roadblock because she's like, I'm not moving. Nope. Roadblock move. Nope. Not doing it. And then
I
we've got
miss my dog
and then
so
we've got
much.
5 cats.
Oh, I might be getting a cat soon. But I miss my dog a lot because he's my family dog, so he's with my parents. But I have a miniature schnauzer, so he looks like a grumpy wizard, and his
Yeah.
name's Felix.
That's
Um,
brilliant. That's
I
brilliant.
didn't name him. I wanted to name him Pavlov, but I was outvoted by my at the time 4-year-old brother who wanted to name him after the character from Wreck-It Ralph.
So our oldest cat is a big, fat orange cat. We got him when my son was 4. His name is SpongeBob SquarePants.
Oh,
We just call him Sponge
that's so good.
because he's just so fat. It's like, stop eating.
My mum has a house rabbit, and he's like just a massive ball of fur, and he's called Thor. So my mum would be like, "Come on, Thor," and he'll just like run across the living room, and it's this tiny rabbit, and his name's Thor.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, so now you gain a +5 reputation to your reputation. All characters start off with a base of 10, but you're gonna start off with a base of 15. And there's actually
Hell
one motivation. I believe it is possession, and I think that's the only one. And hatred. They start off with no reputation, right? They just don't get any bonuses for that. Now, reputation isn't a positive or negative thing; it's a number for reference. So let's say you walk into a tavern, and I can roll reputation against you, and people go, "Hey, you're so and so, aren't you?" And then they suddenly say something that's completely off base. They don't know you as well as they thought they did, and it turns into like the telephone game, right? Where you were the slay. You're not the slayer of the ancient dragon Grafkas, are you? Well, yes, I am. No, you're not. It's kind of thing. So it depends on where it is. So if you roll over it, it's going to be they've heard of you, but not in a good way. And if you roll underneath it, the more you roll underneath it, the more accurate the story actually becomes. So it's a weird kind of mechanic. And then, well, we already know what you're going to be. We're on backgrounds, and you're going to go with bounty hunter.
Yep.
All right.
Having my Han Solo fantasy.
Han Solo fantasy. Nothing wrong with that. All right. So what we've done is on each of the backgrounds, we've given hooks to each of these, right? Mostly because a lot of players, they want to play, but they don't really like, I don't know what's going to be a background hook and stuff like that. we've given 3 hooks. Now that doesn't mean you have to go with these hooks. You can come up with your own hook of why you become a bounty hunter, but these just give some basic hooks. Now on these associated skill bonuses for your background, choose 3 of them, and they each get a +10 bonus. Ooh, that's actually true, Fat Cat. So I assume you know Fat Cat, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
do.
So what they just said is a pacifist bounty hunter. Come with me if you want to live, because there are 4 other bounty hunters on your tail who prefer to bring in people dead.
Ooh,
That's good.
that
That's
is
really
good.
good.
Shall I be a pacifist bounty hunter? That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. That's up to you though. That means
I
if you get into a fight, you can't really you gotta for
Yeah,
a
I've taken
Rakas,
all my fighting stuff.
that's the actual opposite of what a Rakas would do. A Rakas would
Yeah,
be like, all right, you want to die? All right, I'll stick you.
maybe someone else can take that character concept
Yeah,
because
no,
I
I
don't
think
think
that's
we
a
could.
brilliant character concept. That would
But it
be
is such
really interesting to roleplay it. I really think
that would
so.
be
That'd
so
be
interesting.
especially when you come up against undead who
Yeah.
don't really care. They don't understand. They're like, I'm already dead. Who cares?
So I'm picking associated skill bonuses and I get 3. Okay.
Yeah, skill bonuses, you get 3 of those.
Convince, information gathering, open locks, pilot. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna take pilot and then maybe convince. Pilot, convince. Wait, no, I'll take tracking. Tracking, pilot. I'll take tracking, pilot, stealth, I think, because I have bad charisma, so but then maybe I should take it because I have bad charisma.
Well,
Much to think
let
about.
me entice the pot a little more. Of these 3, you're gonna choose one of those 3, and it becomes a super focus for you.
Okay.
So that means it's getting gain an additional +10.
Let's. Okay, Do I drop pilot? But I want to pilot. I don't know. I'm gonna take pilot. Pilot. I'll take pilot, tracking, and convince. Because if I'm convincing, then it doesn't matter if I'm stealthy.
Okay, so you're gonna drop the stealth and you're gonna take convince.
Yeah.
Right
So
on.
I get 3,
And
that's
then
in
choose one of those
skill.
3 that actually it's gonna become a super focus and gains an additional +10.
I think I'll take tracking. I'll be really, really good at tracking.
All right, so +20 for that.
20. And then 10 in convince.
All right,
And
and
then
now
10.
choose one of the associated bonuses. Oh, look, there's one +5 heroic luck.
Yeah. I might take that. That sounds like it would be a good idea.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. Now you're at 6
Cool.
heroic luck. Now you're not going
Yeah.
to be so bad. You'll survive at least one encounter.
That's very comforting.
All right, we are done with that portion. Now we're moving on to skills and abilities. So your total number of skills that your character starts with knowing is 6 plus your intelligence modifier. In your case, it's 8 skills altogether. So 1, 2, 3, 4 skills are already kind of pre-selected for you. I personally, you don't have to take these skills, right? They can start off with a 30 plus the attribute modifier plus whatever bonus you have. So literally your convince would be 40 plus either your intelligence or strength or charisma. So your convince would be 46, but it'll never get more than that.
Okay.
So you've got 8 skills altogether. And you see swords. You want to be agility swords or strength swords?
Strength.
All right, so what we'll do here is we'll go to the weapon craft. We'll type in STR in the small parentheses because that tells us what's weapon craft, and then we'll just put swords there, and
Cool.
we'll figure out what swords are when we get to equipment. And then so that takes you down to 7 skills. Now, like I said in focuses, you can pick 2 skills in fighting or combat that you can focus in, and they gain a base of a bonus of +10 as a focus skill, and then 2 general skills, if you like, that are considered focus that you can
Mhm.
have gain a +10 as well. So skills are on before we actually. My fault. I always do this because I get so into skills. I'm like, let's pick skills. Let's
Yeah.
finish out your basic skills real quick, which is that gray box right there.
Okay.
So your jump is equal to half your height, which is 3 plus 1 foot for every 25 strength. So that's 3. So that is 6 feet that you can jump straight up.
Ooh.
Your leap is going to be half your base. We'll just round it to 8 because it's 7.5 feet.
Cool.
Your lifting is just your strength score, which is 84. Your swimming is 1 foot for every 10 stamina you have. In your case, it is 6 feet. Let's just round it to 7 because it's 69. Yeah, so we'll just round it to 7.
Cool.
Your throw is already pre-generated.
Yep.
Your fear is going to be your willpower check, your willpower score. So 64 plus 15, that makes it 79. Your horror check is your wits score plus 15, so that's 78, 73. And then your poison is your stamina, which is 69 plus 40, so it's 109, which is really good.
Ooh.
I mean, you're likely not to, when you get stuck with something that's poison, like from a spider or something, a viper, something like that, you're likely not to get poisoned by it. And remember, you ignore poisons A through C anyway. So anything that's D and above are like death poisons.
Yeah.
You have a pretty good chance of not getting affected by those. All right, now on to skills, which start on page 77. So, what skills do you
Mm.
choose? That's a good question. So, you've already got your weapon craft, which is good. You've got
Yeah.
you've got 4 skills that are already kind of pre-chosen for you, right? Your alertness, your convince, your pilot, and your tracking. Um,
Yeah.
and all skills start off with a score of 40 plus the controlling attribute modifier. So for your swords, for instance, it's going to be a 46. And since you're going to focus in it, it actually becomes a 56.
Cool. 56. Um. So how many skills do I get again? Sorry.
7 total at this point.
7. Okay. Um. I already have alertness.
Well, so if you want to do alertness, so that would be 40, 55.
Yeah, I'll do
Um,
alertness.
uh, Convince, if you want that, obviously, that would be 56. Because you're going to use
Yeah.
your strength based for that, not your intelligence.
Yeah. And then
So
I've got
mark that.
pilots.
And then pilot, that's your wits or your intelligence.
Um. I
I'll do
don't think it
wits.
matters, so I'll
I
just
do wits. Gives you that much more of
yeah.
a point, right? So that's going to be 40, 52. Sorry, 53. My bad. Explain.
3.
And then your tracking. So it's going to be 40, 60 plus your intelligence. So 62 altogether.
Um. Thinking of what else I want to take. Um. Information gathering might be useful.
So one of the other things you want to also make sure you take. So on page 77, there's what skills should I choose? Little thing there. Um,
Yeah.
some of the more important skills are such things as search, healing, herbalism, shield proficiency, skepticism, convince, and alertness. Um,
Okay.
because skepticism allows you to detect if someone's actually lying to you or determining the
Oh.
truth. Uh, Search, obviously, there's a difference between, so like in D&D, you have your passive perception, right?
Yeah.
And then you have your search. It's kind of similar here. If you walk into a room, I'm not going to say make a perception check. This is what the room looks like. You got a door on the north side. You got hallway on the left, and there is a large pit in the middle of the room. Oh, I want to search it. Now you roll your search skill because you're going
Okay.
to be looking for things behind maybe the paintings over here, or maybe the underneath the rug, those kind of things. So you're searching things. It's like pulling your cushions off your sofa, looking for that 25 cents that you may need, right?
I think I'll take skepticism and search then.
Skepticism and search.
Yeah.
All right, so that's going to be 40 plus your wit, so that's going to be 43. And then skepticism search, which is right there, so it's 40. Now, this is a general skill, so if you want to focus in search, you can. Same with information gathering, right? Those, like I said, you can choose to do that if you want to.
Okay.
So you can choose. So you've got two agility or two general skills that you can focus in if you want. So do you want to focus in search or what? What are you thinking?
I think focusing on search could be good. So I'll focus on it. Yeah.
So that'll be 50 plus your perception modifier, so that's 55.
Cool.
And that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You started off with it. Right. So you're down to 4 skills left. Right?
Yes.
No, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're down to 2 skills left. Sorry.
I'm looking at the skills list. Evade is probably good to have.
So evade is more of like you're trying to lose people in crowds and those kind of things, if that makes sense.
Okay,
It's
cool.
not
That makes
dodge. It's not dodge. Dodge is an
okay.
actual ability which gives you a certain percentage per each time you take it to actually dodge completely out of the way.
Okay. I might take stealth then. Um, yeah, I'll take stealth.
Stealth, all right. So it's going to be 40 plus your agility modifiers for 46. You've got 1 skill left.
Um,
I would actually drop it into your information gathering. That's where I'd go
yeah,
with that.
yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
again, each rank you go up, you'll be able to take new. You can choose to take new skills and have them trained. So it's not like this is all the skills you'll ever have. You can have skills, and any skill that doesn't have the little T next to it can be used. It can be attempted as an untrained skill, right?
Okay.
So you can attempt any skill so long as it doesn't have a T next to it,
Okay.
right? And so your information gathering, it's general. Do you want to focus on that?
Yeah.
So 50 plus. Do you want to use your charisma modifier of 1? No? Okay. Hey, just
No.
asking. So we'll probably do your wits. So that's going to be 53.
Yeah.
All right. That takes care of your skills. All right. Like I said at the beginning, every character starts off with 5 abilities, right? And now we're going to choose your first ability. Since you're a combat focus, if you go to page, sorry, 99, or if you open up the side panel, there's a little side panel where all this is bookmarked in the Adobe. You can just
Yep.
scroll down and go to that as well. There are 303 different abilities. You're not going to take them all, and it's going to allow you to create different characters for the lifetime of the game system, right? So you can choose whatever you want. As a fighter, there are 2 that are really essential, I think. Some people
Mm-hmm.
might disagree with me. Either born fighter or melee specialization. Um, Born fighter gives you a bonus to your attack and your physical defense of plus 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take that.
You want born fighter? And it makes it
Yeah.
easier.
Yeah.
So born fighter. So we'll go to your character sheet. Your last major ability. So born fighter. It's a plus 10 to attack skill, AS, and physical defense. So that brings up your weapon craft to 66 and your physical defense to 56. Not too bad. And that is that. We are almost done. Now we get to
Cool.
choose how wealthy you are. Yay!
Ooh,
Money, shopping,
money.
shopping spree. All right, so go to page 161.
Yep.
And since all our starting money is based off of your background plus the blessings of the gods, you're a bounty hunter. So you're going to start off with a base of 525 silver pieces. Now, you need to find the 2d10 that you trust the most to roll as low as they'll go.
Okay. Okay. I got 13.
13, right on. So you're going to start off with an additional 600 pieces, silver pieces. So you
Cool.
have 1,125 silver pieces. All right. And then we get into the fun parts of it. We're going to start off with armor. And since you're not doing shields, you don't have to worry about shields. Then we'll get into purchasing your weapons and then picking out some basic gear for you as a first rank character. Cool?
Cool.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. So armors. They're on page 162.
Yep.
Most people can't afford the higher armors right off the bat.
Yeah.
Especially when you need to still purchase a weapon. Most people are doing like ring armor or hardened leather as their basic because they're inexpensive at this point.
hmm I'm good with hardened leather.
Okay. So that's going to be 150 coming off that. So here's what we do. I'll take care of the silver in a minute. So your armor, you're going to do hardened leather in the armor and defenses.
Yep.
It has an absorption of 9. I've actually got to redesign this character, the sheets. It's got a couple things in there that we took out. And you also got a +10 for natural armor when it's there, right? So we'll have was it slashing? Was it it's part of your species? What do we do with it? Blade resistance. Sorry, blade resistance. So you get a +10 versus slashing weapons. So +10. So technically, whenever you're up against any type of slashing weapon, you have an armor of 19. Everything else, you have a basic armor of 9. So it's 19, which isn't too bad actually. Prevents a lot of damage at first rank. Then what we're going to do is, so that's going to be so going to be 150 silver. So that takes you down to 975.
Yep.
And then we're going to worry about weapons. Now, it's going to seem like there's a lot of information on this table. It's on page 168, and there is. Once you understand what each of the little, especially the specials, once you understand what they mean, it kind of makes sense, right? So on swords, page 169. Now, here's the cool thing is you can dual wield swords right off the bat if you like.
Yes.
Right? It's not like you have to take an extra ability or anything. So if you want to use 2 swords, you can. The type of swords, since you're doing strength-based, the type of ones that you probably like are going to be the Beckart, the Brisvario, maybe the Catal if you want, but those are all large weapons, and those tend to be 2-handed weapons. If you want to use 2 weapons that are strength-based, you're going to want to stay with either the Beckart or the Brisvario.
Okay.
Yeah. Which one of those do you want to purchase? So to help you maybe make a better decision. So if you look at the weapon, the Beckart, for instance, it's 250 silver pieces, but it's got some cool bonuses to it. One, it increases the critical range for your damage from +1 to +5 to +1 through 10. So if you roll a 9, you critically hit something. It's also got, it ignores 10 points of armor, which is at A10. While you're using the weapon, your physical defense goes up by 10. You can do 10 points of fatigue damage per success as a merciful hit, right? You can smack somebody with the side of it, and then O means that you can't attack through another square, right? I
Okay.
think that's what O means. Yeah, you can't
Um,
attack through another square.
I'll get two of those then.
Okay, brilliant. So let's go ahead and drop the Beckart sword in our attacks. Our total skill is going to be 66. And you can put like ×2 in there, Beckart ×2. That way you know what it is. Its base damage is going to be 5.
Mm-hmm.
Its bonus damage is going to be your strength modifier, so it's 6. Its strike range is actually 10 feet. Because it's
Okay.
a little bit longer. Normally it would be right next to you. No, yeah, it'd be right next to you. No, it's 5 feet. Sorry, it's 5 feet. If you were large, it would be 10 feet.
Okay.
And then your crit range is 1 through 10. And then all I do is I just copy and paste the specials into the special notes.
Okay.
And each of those are 250, so brings you down by 500. So now you're at 475. We are almost done. Next thing we need to do is just pick our basic equipment. And that would be in the adventuring gear section on page 182. Now, I like lists because I like to really get into like the crunchiness of buying this or buying that. If you don't want to do that right off the bat on page 182 on 189, I believe it is 1889, there are adventuring packs that you can purchase. These have all your basic equipment in them.
Okay. Yeah. I'm probably just gonna get a pack.
No, it's easy,
Um,
right? But again, I like going through these things and really picking things. So a lot of people, what they've been doing is they've been buying packs,
yeah.
and then if they have anything left over, they go back and I want this, oh, I definitely want that, and those kind of things. So it allows them to modify and be very specific with their characters.
Yeah. No, I think I'll buy packs. I'm just looking at which ones I think. Uh, I think I'll take a survivalist pack. Wait, no, I can't because I don't have enough money. I could take a standard pack. I might just take a standard one, and then yeah, I'll just take a standard pack. I think. Yeah.
It does come with a survival kit, though.
Yeah, that's true. So I'll take
So,
a standard pack and then have a look and see.
and then what I do is I just grab that and I take it and I put it in the equipment in the backpack.
Yeah.
It even comes with its total weight. And then it comes with, like I said, a survival kit. And what I'll do is I'll pop that over to its own line. Because on page 191 is actually what's inside the survival kit.
Okay.
It comes with a hunting knife, whetstone, a small shovel, a hammer, 4 square yards of canvas, 100 feet of fishing line, 10 hooks, flint, steel, signal whistle, and 5 vials of antitoxin. So that's, like I said, for the price, that's a really good deal
Yeah.
for your basic survival kit.
Yeah.
And we're done.
Cool.
It wasn't too painful, was it?
No, it was good. I enjoyed it.
All right, any questions?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to playing.
I think it'll be fun, and so we'll probably start next Saturday. I think we're gonna start at. Nat said that every other Saturday they have to work until 5:30, so we'll probably start on at 7 p.m. your guys' time,
Yeah.
which is noon or 11 a.m. depending on the time switch for me, and we'll go 3 or 4 hours depending what you guys want to do.
Yeah.
And that's that. So what do you think? Now that you've
I'm
actually
excited.
had it in your hands for a while.
I like it. It's good. I'm impressed at how much stuff you can. I'm always impressed when people write games at how much stuff they come up with. Like the fact that you've written languages and stuff is just insane in a good way. Um, and I'm a huge nerd for sci-fi, so I really enjoyed reading through the manual and reading through all the different species, not species, races. Species, races.
Species,
Um,
species,
species.
species, species.
Species.
Well, and
I
you know,
can't talk.
there's this huge there was this huge kind of discussion a long time ago that I got involved in of what's the difference between a race and a species. Um, species are physically different from each other as apples are from oranges,
Yeah,
right? I'm gonna save your character sheet so I have a copy of it just in case you lose yours.
yeah,
And so the same race, right? And this is where you get into this weird kind of weirdness about with people. Races can interbreed, species tend not to be able to interbreed. And I specifically
yeah,
chose that because I didn't want half races or quarter
yeah,
races or any of this. It's either this or that. It's not, well, I'm a half this, then just create a new species,
yeah,
right? And stuff like that. So that's where I went with that.
yeah.
Anything else? You good?
Um, I'm good. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm
Oh,
excited.
awesome. Well, I'm excited to actually have you. You guys are actually going to be my first um, group that is predominantly female. So I think that's going to be awesome. And part of the Alphabet Mafia. So we'll see what you guys
Yeah,
go with this. I am a old school uh, TTRPGer, meaning that I'm comfortable inside dungeons, but the story
yeah,
will go wherever you guys take it. I don't set off with plots. Like, I've read through the Curse of Strahd, and I'm like, there's so many things that, but I will give you plot points, and you
yeah,
choose, hey, let's go do that or not. You know, that's still gonna happen, and it may or may not affect your portion of the world, but that's still happening, right? And I just let you guys drive the story for the most part. I'll put out like scenarios for you and you can choose where you want to go, and then I'll build off that scenario based off where you guys want to go with your characters and what you guys want to do.
that
I'm
sounds good.
thinking the first Saturday before we actually play, we'll probably start an hour later than normal because the first hour I want to get through and see how where you guys all are with your characters in your brain on how they
Yeah,
may or may not know each other. Kind of like
yeah,
it's a session zero, in the sense of where are your guys' characters starting. Do you want to know each other? Do you not want to know each other? Do you want that interaction where you're just starting, and that kind of stuff? So we'll figure that out as well.
yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All
I'm
right.
excited because I also haven't played a lot of science fiction RPGs. I play a lot of fantasy RPGs.
So this is
So
so this is like I said, it's a science fantasy.
sci-fi.
So
Yeah,
I mean, you guys could decide. You know what? Hey, we want to be pirates. All right. Do you want to be airship, void ship? Do you want to be what have you? And I will help you figure that out, and we'll go from there. Because I'll throw you into the void. The void is a very dangerous place. Yeah, you don't want to get caught without your void suits on. It's happened.
yeah.
I've almost killed somebody because they got into the void without a suit
Oh God.
and stuff. So
Oh no.
yeah,
I don't want to.
yeah, you don't want to be there. Definitely want to be there. All right. Well, I guess what we're gonna do is we'll call it for today. Um,
Thank you for having
no,
me.
thank you for joining, and I'm excited to have you guys as players. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Now
It will
remember,
probably be quite chaotic if me
I
and Nat are in the same game, so I
that's
apologize
I
in
no,
advance.
don't apologize. I hope to see how you guys play, right? So I
Yeah,
think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a lot of fun,
we've all played together before,
right?
so it should
Are
be.
you in the group with them with all the characters that have like negative intelligence?
No,
No.
we were playing we were playing, oh, what is it? It's a module. It's the module with the dinosaurs. What is it? Tomb of Annihilation.
Tomb
We
of
were in
Annihilation.
a Tomb of Annihilation game together that my ex-boyfriend ran. And then me and my ex broke up, so we stopped playing.
No.
But but we've been trying to play a game together again since. But we've all played together before and we're all quite close friends because I've known I've known M for about 4 years now because when I joined my role playing society at the uni, me and M became friends, and then M was president, and then I've been president for 2 years running. And then I'm really good friends with Nat as well. We talk all the time. So
So do you and Nat live in the same general locale? Because I know that M is what, an hour and 35 minutes away.
no, I'm still in Scotland
You're in
because
Edinburgh.
yes, I'm in
Okay.
Edinburgh. So I'm in Scotland, and Emma's in England, and Nat's also in England. So
Wow. I had it
yeah,
completely backwards. I didn't think M was in
yeah.
England. I thought M was in Scotland and
Em's
Nat was in
Em's from
England.
Scotland. Em's from Scotland,
She's from
but
Scotland, but she's in
yeah, but
England.
yeah, and I'm from England, but I'm in Scotland, so it's
Well, again, small little country, small island nation. It must be. I mean, literally, I think we can fit England in Texas. Still have room.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
So
tiny, tiny, tiny little island.
yeah, I've talked to Simon, who's out of print GM, and we've talked about, yeah, it'll take me 8 hours or more. It'll take me 3 days to travel to Chicago if I drive it from where I'm at. And people are like, 3 days? I'm like, yeah. So you could go back and forth across north and south of England
Yeah.
and Scotland multiple times over in 3 days.
Well, it takes 9 hours in the car to drive from Oxford um to Edinburgh. So
Wow. So literally, you could drive back and forth across Scotland, England, the island, the UK, at least 5 times before I actually got to Chicago driving it.
yeah.
That's incredible. It just puts that kind of perspective scale on the landmass.
I always fly, so I'm only in the air for like half an hour. So I'm like takes me
So
half an hour to get
even if we were to actually fly from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way to Bayou Fetket, um, to
Hi.
Chicago, is a 3.5 hour flight, and that's with the out. That's with and yeah, that's a 3.5 hour flight. Um,
So
so
I
it's
could fly back and forth like 7 times.
so half if it's a half hour, so it's 2, 4, 6, 7 times, maybe 8 times. And what's funny is we'll leave Chicago and fly back to Arizona. We'll leave at 5 p.m. Chicago time and arrive in Arizona at 2 p.m.
Oh.
Talk about a time shift,
Yeah,
right?
there's no time difference.
Yeah, there isn't. You guys are all in one line, right?
Yeah, it's just the same time. We have the thing where our clocks go back and forward. That's a bit weird, but
That's a bit weird. Arizona doesn't move, so we don't move our time. We just everybody kind of falls in lines with us. So everybody else moves, we don't move, which is weird. And then there's like a county or a city in Chicago and in Indiana do the same thing. They don't move, which is weird. It's like, suddenly we're behind 2 hours or we're ahead of an hour, and it's just wow. I don't know. They did it for a reason, and I know why they did it, but it's still an interesting reason.
every time I have a lot of I have a few friends that are American, but every time we like talk about differences between the UK and America, I always like learn more differences that I didn't even know about. Um, like over here, we drink a lot of things that are blackcurrant flavor, and I didn't realize you guys don't have blackcurrants, or you don't typically have blackcurrant flavored things. And I was talking about we have this like juice called Ribena that's made of blackcurrants, and I love it. And I was talking about it with someone that's American. They were like, "I don't know what you're on about," and I was
I
really
see right
confused.
there. I don't know what you're on about, right? We don't
Yeah,
even say that. We're like, I don't know what you're talking about. What do you what?
yeah,
And you're on about, and it's
on
interesting. And
about.
I'll even notice that with Plot Doctor and Out of Print GM, they'll say something, and it to them it's natural, but it sticks out in my ear like that's not how we speak.
Yeah,
And it's interesting. So yeah, there's all kinds of weird kind of things. It'll just kind of catch off, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But me talking to you, I think sounds more natural. Like, but I think there's a lot of differences in a lot of in what we say and how we say things. And it depends
Yeah.
on what part of the country you're in. I think also.
Yeah. I mean, different areas have different sayings and things as well. So like for instance, if I'm drunk, I tell my friends that I'm feeling wavy or I'm waved. And some of them don't call being drunk that, but I just always have like I'm
Wavy.
wavy or I'm
I'm
waved.
wavy. I'm waved.
Yeah, because you feel a bit seasick when you're drunk. Staggering. You're wavy. You're
Interesting.
waved.
Interesting. Now,
Waved.
is that a term that you came up with, or is that a term that's actually used?
It's just what was used around me when I was growing up. Like people would be like, oh, "I'm feeling wavy" if they're drunk, or I'm a bit waved. So
Interesting.
yeah, but then
Interesting.
I have a friend from London that didn't know about it, and then like yeah,
Well, like and so I used to speak sign language a long time ago, and it was always
yeah,
interesting to see that not only is there different signs for different things, there's also regional accents in signs,
yeah,
which blew my mind when I learned that. I was like, isn't it all the same? They're like, no, there's actual different differences. You could say one thing in one area, it'll mean something completely in American Sign Language in Arizona than it does in New York,
yeah,
right? And then there's British sign, and then there's Japanese sign language, and it's like all these different sign languages, and it's interesting to see how they actually came up with their different signs. And then they have regional accents, but I was like, that just I don't understand that, but okay, that
yeah.
works.
It's really interesting. Accents and linguistic differences are really, really interesting.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to do some research on today. Is what influences regional accents more, the actual language, or the what causes a regional accent to be a regional accent, right? Like, could a if a German learns French, do they speak with a French accent or with their German accent? Do you see what I'm
Because
saying?
my old roommate, my old flatmate, is Hungarian, and he speaks fluently Hungarian, German, and English, but his English accent is Scottish. He has a Scottish accent when he speaks English,
Interesting.
which, like, I went to the pub with him the other day and a friend that hadn't met him before, and she was like, "He rolls his R's like a Scottish person." I was like, "Yeah, he has a Scottish accent when he speaks English, but he's Hungarian."
And but then he speaks. You said German.
Yeah, he speaks German and Hungarian and English.
Does his German sound like a German accent, or is it a Hungarian accent?
I think it sounds like I can't it might just be me being ignorant and not knowing a lot about languages, but I could his when he speaks Hungarian and when he speaks German, it kinda sounds quite similar to me. He has a very, very deep he almost sounds deeper when he speaks Hungarian or German, so it's
That's why
really different.
that's one of my questions is people are like, I have these languages and they speak a regional accent. And I'm like, so what regional accent is it? I mean,
Yeah.
does a French person who knows how to speak German speak with a French accent or a German accent?
I work with
Right?
someone from China as well, and he was translating something for the my work, and, he looked at the original translation, he was like, "Oh, this isn't formal Chinese, this is, like, informal Chinese," and I didn't
Simplified,
know that
yeah.
there was, like, a simplified and a formal version, I didn't know that, so that was
Yeah.
really interesting.
and
But
and then even then they have different accents for that as well, right? It
yeah,
depends on it depends on the word that they're using. So that's why I was at that's why I'm curious. It's kind of like like each of these species have their own languages. So if they're in a different part of the world, or they were raised in a different part of the world but they know how to speak their language, do they speak it with that accent and that regional accent, or do they speak that's and so people are always pointing out. I'm like, I don't think that actually works that way in a sense, right? I mean, we're both
I guess
speaking we're both speaking English, but you've got more of obviously a British
a Brit
accent,
a British accent,
a posh accent, where I'm
posh.
speaking where I'm speaking a my English accent. But if I go to the South or even to Texas, they get all kind of weird, and they start to change their accents just a little bit. And what's interesting is they actually say that the accents of the regional South and Texas are part of the original accents of the standard English accent prior to it becoming, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It really is.
I know that when I did linguistics, it was different accents, they pronounce what's called like phonemes differently. So for example, I say bath and the way I pronounce my A's is like an AR sound. So I say like bath, and when I say banana, I say banana instead of banana or whatever it is.
Banana,
Um
banana, tomato,
banana,
tomato,
like banana, I talk like that,
banana,
but some other people just pronounce it as an "ah" sound, and I pronounce it as an "ar" sound, so that's, like, linguistically
banana.
what's
Yeah,
happening is you pronounce phonemes differently depending
right.
on, like, the region, but I don't know why that is, like, I don't know how that originated,
That's what that I
but
guess that's what I'm asking is how does that
yeah,
originate, right? I mean, so if you like again, if you take someone who is born with a French knowledge, is French a regional accent or is it a language accent? Does that make
I think it
sense?
must be regional because if I'm thinking about my old flatmate who speaks with a Scottish accent, I guess he learned English primarily from Scottish people, so he just copied what he heard. So I feel like if you were French and you learn English, say in London, you might pronounce some words like a Cockney person,
Right.
like in a Cockney accent, or if say you were German and you like grew up in Boston, you might
Have that Boston accent.
yeah.
That's weird.
And
Language is
some people
weird.
pick up and drop accents because, like, my dad used to have a really, really thick Edinburgh accent, but then he's lived longer in Oxford now than he lived in Edinburgh, so his accent's kind of diminished a lot.
Well,
He still can't say
it'll be
words.
interesting when I'm listening to the three of you if my accent changes a little bit, right? Like more of a Scottish accent than it is a what I'm speaking now kind of accent.
Yeah,
With the rolling of the R's because I can speak Spanish.
yeah,
But the way they speak Spanish and the way I speak Spanish, even though I'm saying the exact same word with the same rolls, there's a different pitch in the way I'm saying
yeah.
it than they are saying it. Um, yeah, so I don't know. It's all right. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know it is. It's not that late. It's only what 9
It's
p.m.
8.
8.
It's 8.
It's coming up on
Yeah.
9 and stuff like that. So you've got some time, and then you've got
I gotta read some Ian Banks for my science fiction class.
understood. So, anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me
Having
today.
me.
And we
Thank
will
you.
get together in 2 Saturdays and begin playing, and we'll see all that. So, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. We'll see you guys soon.